Hello there, good people of the world. Welcome to another FlightSimSafaris video. This is going to be a review of the sort of my final review of the Britten-Norman Islander from Blackbox Simulation, specifically the version that was created for Flight Simulator 2024. And it's the version with the piston engine. So far, I don't know that they would have published also the turboprop version of the plane. So we're talking about the piston version, and we're also talking about the initial release version 1.0, which was published in July 2025. And until the making of this video, there have not been any updates that I would be aware of. What I'm going to show you in the video is still the version 1.0. The review was created in September 2025, so keep that in mind if you're watching this much later. Things might have changed in the meantime. The official price of the product currently is 19.99 euros. The guys from Blackbox say that this is a reduced price, and there have been people who are disappointed with the price tag, especially because some of those people have owned the 2020 version of the plane. So there was a model for the 2020. For the Flight Sim 2020, there's obviously, unless I have not seen something, if overlooked something, there is no upgrade pricing or a free upgrade for owners of the previous version. Blackbox say that because they have put in so much effort to make it compatible to 2024, it's probably worth the price of 20 euros. So let's take a look at what they say on the website, claiming that they completely rebuilt the plane with the 2024 SDK. They have included some new features that are 2024 exclusive, individual seating for the passengers, configurable cargo, electrical and fuel systems, and all that. So obviously they have put in some effort. I'm not sure about the career mode because I'm not using it at all. I'm not interested in. So I would expect it to be compatible to the career mode of 2024. But I didn't try, and I'm not going to try. So if you're desperately looking for a plane that's going to be available in the career mode, please take a look yourself. Obviously, the plane comes with 16 modular aircraft variants and real-world liveries, I can confirm. There are pre-flight checks, including chocks, pins, covers, and more. I'm going to show you in a second once we take a closer look at it in the sim. There's a version that includes steam gauges, and there's one that has the Garmin G1000 system, and there are different cabin configurations available. So here's what you can choose from in the sim. Actually, there are variants with a Garmin system with passenger seating and cargo and some kind of paratroopers, jump, whatever it's called, special ops version, and stuff in between. So there are a couple of different cabin variants, which is nice. You also have a selection of different liveries. There are not that many, but there already have been some updates which are going to be downloaded automatically. For example, when I bought it, I only had like 4 liveries, if I remember correctly, and now there are a couple of additional liveries, and I didn't do anything about it, so that is nice. Let's go back and actually take a look at it in the sim. There is another thing that I want to mention is that if you're a user of the Honeycomb Bravo throttle, like I am, you're going to have to use SimTrim, the software that accelerates the movement of the trim wheel in the game, and because otherwise you're going to rotate the wheel until your arm falls off. It's the same with many other planes. For example, the Kodiak 100, which is my favorite plane in 2024. You just need an additional software to make this work properly, and so you're not going to have to make 100 revolutions to just trim the nose up like 5 degrees or something. Let's put the plane into some kind of setting. Garoka. We're going to do a little demo flight just to give you an idea how this thing works. Now we've loaded up the sim, as you can see. We've not done any pre-flight checks yet. This is what the Islander looks like in the actual simulator world. Just a remark about the Islander. Obviously, consider the name Islander. It's a short takeoff and landing aircraft, which was meant to basically jump from island to island. The real playground for this is in the Caribbean, I guess, or any other place in the world where you need the reliability of two engines. So if one engine fails, you're still going to be able to move. For example, in Germany, the islands that are located in the North Sea, there is a great little airline that is called, I think it's called Norden, something like that. They fly the Islander, and I have had the opportunity to be a passenger in one of those, and it was an awesome flight. It was very short, but still I liked it a lot. And the Islander is also pretty suitable for Papua New Guinea, I would say, but I mean, the preferred planes there are turboprops for a variety of reasons. But we're going to do a test flight here on Papua New Guinea. We're at Yambaitok currently, and the first thing that we're going to do is a pre-flight check, obviously. So compared to the 2020 version, you now have to do a pre-flight check. You can create a keyboard shortcut to cheat your way around this to a certain degree if you want to. But as you can see, you can move around the plane, and let's just take a quick look at the complete model. As you can see, there is a little bit of a bug here because the tail number is flickering a bit. That might be an issue with the way the textures are generated onto the airplane. Not much of an issue because I'm not going to see it from inside the plane, but it's a little bug that needs to be resolved at some point. And as you can see, there's enough detail to make it look realistic, in my opinion. So what we're going to do is pull off some of the restraints here that you can move the elevator and the rudder and all that. So go away. We're going to remove the pitot cover and the chocks, and of course remove the inlet cover here, and I think then we're good to go. So this is what it looks like. I currently have a co-pilot in there. You can open the door. There's a couple of interactive points here. The same goes for the cargo door. You can open that and close it, of course. But I think you can only close it from the... No, you can close it from the outside. So let's go back into the plane. If you want to close the door from the outside, you need to pull... I think you need to pull somewhere on this thing here. There's a bit of an issue with closing the door from the inside. This has also been mentioned in... Oh, there we go. This has also been mentioned on the forums that people didn't understand what was happening. We're taking a look at the Garmin 1000 version of the plane. So you can also open the windows, which is going to make the engine noise that much louder. I'm going to close it again. Most of the functions in the plane are usable, but some of them are not. And that's a bit of a disappointment. The pitot, for example, the pitot install warning heater doesn't work at all. The airframe de-icing system doesn't work. Only the prop de-ice seems to be working. Everything else is okay. And in the back, you also have the opportunity to click some stuff, but it's by far not as interactive as, for example, the Kodiak 100, where you can almost click every single switch, and you can even move the air outlets and all that. So it's a little less interactive. I don't really mind that much because it's still a great model, but it's not exactly on the same level like the Kodiak 100. As I said, I'm using the honeycomb system with the alpha yoke and the Bravo throttle quadrant. So the default mapping is pretty good already. We can just go ahead and click some of the buttons. I didn't really do a lot of customization. Just made sure that most of the relevant switches are working. So light switches, most of them are working. And then we also need to make sure that the plane is actually able to get fuel, then you need to then you need to activate the fuel pumps left and right. Then you need to switch on the magnetos, mixture to rich. We're also going to set the prop to full forward and a little bit of throttle. And then I'm just going to turn the key here and start the engines. There we go. That looks fine to me. Then we're going to go to port generator so that we're not going to empty the battery too quickly, and we can cut off the external supply. So this is how the plane actually starts up. I have already put in a flight plan for a destination that's not really that far away. The destination is Alpha Yankee India Papa. And we're going to fly there manually. I'm not going to use the autopilot really. But I can tell you right there that on the Bravo throttle quadrant, the autopilot system works quite well. I didn't find any issues. I was just a little bit surprised about the fact that the Garmin system has a maximum climb rate of 1,000 feet per minute. That's not a bug. That's a feature. That's something that also happens in the real airplane, I've been told. So don't be surprised about that. On the other hand, if you're using automatic speed system, then it's going to be able to climb much faster. If you set, for example, if you set a climb speed of 90 knots, then the Islander is going to climb a lot faster than if you put the climb rate to 1,000 feet. I'm going to make a quick check to make sure that you get the most performance out of the engine. I am adding a little bit of throttle here, and then you can go ahead and move around the mixture and see where the EGT peaks out. And at the highest point, that's the best setting, because then the engine is going to develop the most power. I'm not sure if this is something that real pilots would do. I've found it a good idea to do in the sim anyway. Lower the flaps to takeoff setting. This is the flap indicator. I'm just going to use the rocker switch on the Bravo throttle quadrant for this. I'm not going to use ATC for now, but I am going to turn on the lights. Of course, quickly change the time so that you guys are going to be able to see what it looks like during the night time. Here we are. So there's the strobe light. No strobe light. I'm sorry, forgot that. A kind of a strobe light, but we've got the port and starboard lights. So there we go. Okay, let's take off real quick. Release the parking brakes. So first of all, one of the things about the Islander in the sim here is that I forgot the takeoff trim, dude. One of the things about the Islander in 2024 is the fact that it actually almost feels too easy to fly. It's actually, and you can see that it's a monkey. This thing can climb like nobody's business. We're flying 86 knots, and it can initially at least climb with 2,400 feet per minute, which is awesome. I'm not sure if this is actually realistic. It almost feels a little bit too much, but in the sim it's fun. Then I read a couple of articles about of pilots who describe how the plane actually behaves. And in a real world, it really seems to be an extremely docile and manageable plane that is very forgiving in almost any kind of situation. And if it's empty, you can bring her down to like 49 knots, and this thing is still not going to stall. And that's remarkable. It works like that in the sim as well. So, but it's almost boring, really. It's not. It doesn't have the same kind of character that, for example, the Kodiak has. I mean, the Kodiak, it can be a bitch, really. If you're too slow and if you're too heavy, it's going to pull to the left. It's got only one engine. It's got a huge, powerful engine, with pretty difficult to handle if you're flying slow and if you're heavy. So, but the Islander, you can throw every kind of situation added, and it's going to be docile and easy to fly, which makes it a bit boring, really. There have been people on the forums who complained about the textures in the sim. I mean, yes, it does look dull a little bit. It's almost a little bit too sterile, and there's no dirt whatsoever. It looks like a brand new plane. I have only seen one Islander in real life, and I was a passenger in one once. That's about 10 years ago, and of course it was a lot more used and dirty, and I don't really care that much about the textures as long as they look decently realistic, and they do. I mean, you can take a look at all kinds of pictures on the internet. Most of the pictures really show Islanders, because this thing was developed in the 1960s. Most of the Islanders that are flying in the world are pretty old and used, of course, but this is all good enough for me. I cannot really complain about the textures. This is okay for me, really. There's one other thing that I would have complaints about if I wouldn't be able to fix it myself, was the braking performance of the plane. In the sim, it feels as if the brakes are very weak in the default setting, because the Islander is supposed to be really an STOL plane of extraordinary capability, and that also means that it needs to have strong brakes. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video to another video that I did where I am addressing this problem specifically and how to fix it, because the Islander should be capable to land maybe less than 900 feet. I already have fixed the brakes in the version that I'm flying here, which is really a very, very small fix. You just need to change a couple of numbers in a config file, and that's it, basically. And it feels way more realistic. Now we're going to land the Islander, which is also a breeze to do. It's really not that difficult. The landing speed of this thing, it depends on what kind of cargo you have on board. But I would say that a safe bet would be somewhere between 65 and 75 knots. I'm going to aim for 70 knots for this landing because I'm empty. And as you can see, this thing is utterly stable in the air. I could actually add a little bit of turbulence. How about a light thunderstorm? So there you go. We've got, looking at the Garmin system, we've got quite a bit of crosswind here, and also headwind, and we've got turbulence. But since the Islander is rather heavy, or it has two engines, it's much more stable than, for example, the Kodiak. It's not even difficult to land this in these kind of conditions. As you can see, you need to compensate for the crosswind, but there's not much to do for me except keep the direction and flare at the last moment. I'm gonna pull back. Oh, duty! I was not paying attention. So there's, if I'm doing this right, flare and set it onto the ground, then hit the brakes. And the suspension is actually pretty forgiving because it's, I mean, it's not as hard and stiff as, for example, the Kodiak's suspension. Again, I'm not sure if this is realistic, but it's fun. It feels like a decently heavy and sturdy plane, but it's also a little bit boring because it's so easy. And then we're going to turn it off, cut off the fuel, shut off, shut down, hit the parking brake. That is what the Islander feels like, what it behaves like, what it looks like. And I would say that it's worth the money. $20 is not that much for a plane that is pretty complete. Of course, I can understand those people who say that they're disappointed because they didn't get any kind of upgrade offer in any way. And if they're already owning the 2020 version of the plane, I probably wouldn't buy the upgrade either. if I didn't get any kind of discount. Anyway, I hope this is going to give you an impression of this might be a good plane for you. It's a good addition to my personal collection because I like bush planes. I'm not one guy for the big leagues. I like the short takeoff and landing stuff. So it's not without its quirks. It's got a couple of systems that don't work yet. I am hoping for some upgrades that are probably going to be published later on. So there you go. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave a comment below. I'm going to try to answer to the best of my abilities. And if you did like this review, if it gave anything to you, please leave a thumbs up, write something, write a comment. I hope you have a good time and nice people around. And I'll see you soon. Take good care of yourself. Bye.